session. So if you stop making your wife's sexual desire responsible for proving your value, right? What do you build on your side that gives attraction the strongest possible environment without chasing and begging for it, right? You see, the opposite. Let's move on to the next segment here, right? We're going to talk about the attraction capacity cycle. And most people, again, they try to use common sense to solve for this. It's not going to work. How do you know you're using common sense? When you say she's weaponizing sex, that's common sense based ideology. It's not because you're wrong. It's not because you're not a smart person. It's because we know that that's going to create more problems. That mindset is actually going to pour gasoline into the fire that you're already dealing with. Okay. The opposite of rejection is not getting your wife to desire you tonight. All right. The opposite is developing enough capacity that rejection no longer decides who you become next, because rejection can always show up, right? So we want to go from rejection this time around, instead of going into testing mode, because you're moving with panic, fear, testing, right? Easy, because you're using common sense. Sorry, I'm throwing a lot of shots at common sense because it just doesn't work. Instead of going that direction, right? We're going to go in the direction of grounding. Okay, this is everything. Grounding. So we have what we call the GPS here. Okay, it's our core pillars, GPS. Okay, and that's what I want to give you, because it works 100% of the time. Okay, it works 100% of the time, but it has to be applied to your story, to the uniqueness of your story and your marriage, because every marriage is different, right? So there are principles. This is another problem. People will say there's no manual. No, there are manuals and there are principles, and part of that is to understand that applications will be unique to everybody's experience, right? So there are manuals. People will use there are no manual to shut down the conversation and to navigate in the direction of faith and things they can't control, and just to say they're not responsible for everything we're talking about. No, you're responsible. We're talking about if you're responsible for complaining, explaining, getting defensive, right? Apologizing for it, confusion, right? If you responsibly said, yes, I did, or I do, then it's okay if you didn't know what you were doing, because I didn't know what I was doing. All people that say I do, they don't know what they're doing. But it's your responsibility to navigate your way to knowing what you're doing, okay? That's your responsibility, and there are tons of manuals, and I'm sharing one of them with you right now. You just have to pick one and follow all the way through, okay? So we want to go in the direction of grounding. What that means is that, yes, you feel the sting without immediately turning it into a verdict. What sting? Rejection. Rejection hurts. It still hurts. I don't care who you are. Rejection still hurts, and it will continue to hurt. But as the more it hurts, the more it is an opportunity to elevate yourself to the next level. Okay, as opposed to blaming the other person, as opposed to engaging blame behavior, guilt, shaming, insult, right? Quote unquote accountability, because when most people say accountability on the internet, it's not self-accountability. It's usually holding other people accountable. I know, right? So accountability only means self-accountability. That's what it means in the final analysis. Okay. So you feel, yes, you feel that sting. It hurts. Like you feel undesirable. That's, you're a normal human being. Okay. But instead of allowing that to be the verdict, or allowing that to be your strategies, you return back to your higher self, because you still have value in you. You might not see it. You might be using it the wrong way. And I'm not talking about moral values. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay. I'm talking about the reason why that person deemed you fit to marry you in the first place. Sometimes they will come to you and say, maybe I married the wrong person. It's BS. They married exactly right. It doesn't mean they can't cancel the marriage if they want, but you married right. When you actually execute marriage, you married right, because you had more than enough chance to marry to go the other route. But you always marry right. Now we can say you don't know what you're doing in the marriage. That would be a different conversation. All right. So grounding means you return back to your higher self. You return back to gratitude. You return back to your faith. You return back to your your source of truth, not your truth, which is your truth is your experience right now. I'm talking about the source of truth. What is behind the way you interpret life right now today? What is responsible for the way you interpret life today? You're not just a perfect human being walking around life and no. Something has socialized the way you think, right? You want to return back to that because that is what is controlling your emotional stability, your emotional self-control. Those are the things controlling it, and you want to go back to that, right? Rejection hurts, but you don't want it to become your strategies, right? So I had a client. I mentioned that client earlier on, right? A young man, got married about 7 years ago, and he found himself in this kind of situation, but he kept comparing himself. Just the first session I had with him was comparing himself to other men, other men, even including the brother-in-law. He was comparing himself and just basically questioning his own significance. When you're going through this kind of experience, it will put you in that position naturally, right? And that comparison is exactly why grounding comes first, because you don't want to be comparing yourself to other, which is what some people say there's no manual or something. No, there is still a baseline expected of you, socially speaking, right? And believe it or not, your wife is also, that's part of how she thinks. See, once it's no longer just about you, another human being is involved in whatever it is we're talking about, then you can't just say, I'm just being me. No, you better become a better version of yourself. You better be on a path to becoming a better version of yourself. Okay? So, and you want to go back to grounding first, because you cannot diagnose attraction while your self-image is collapsing around someone else's perceived alternatives, right? So it could be some friend, it could be somebody, some ex, or somebody who is a emotional tampon on the side that she's talking to, that maybe she doesn't know how to talk herself too. It could be, but this temptation is there to now compare yourself to that other person. But when you go back to grounding, you kill that almost instantly. Okay, so it's about returning back to gratitude. Gratitude meaning you're able to do an assessment of yourself, an inventory of your life, and I guarantee you there are things you can be grateful for, and you just want to go back to that. So from grounding, you want to go into, now we're able to navigate our way into purpose. Keep in mind, we're talking about sexual attraction from your wife, okay? But you want to go into purpose, right? Well, purpose is going to be necessary because, remember, pain is, I said pain, rejection hurts, right? And so there's pain coming from that. There's probably some kind of resentment coming from that, right? And you want to be flipping that pain into purpose. As a matter of fact, remember I told you, the rejection is an opportunity to elevate yourself to your next level in your life. If you don't experience it, you're going to be on a fake cloud nine, thinking that you've got everything in life figured out, and usually that's wrong. That's not true. There's a new level you need to get to, and if you don't experience the rejection, you're not going to get to that next level. That next level could look like you no longer have to beg for sex ever again. Begging for sex leads to no sex. Did I say that loud enough so far? Yeah. If you're begging for sex, it leads to no sex or bad sex, which means they will not want to have it with you tomorrow again, right? So that's what we're talking about. But when you engage your purpose, what does that have to do with it? Well, you will have a hard time begging for sex. Okay, all right. You'll be busy because, again, the idle mind is devil's playground, right? And what do I mean by purpose precisely, right? You redirect your energy, that energy coming from that painful experience of rejection from a person you love, that clearly you want, you desire them, right? You will be able to redirect all that energy away from making your marriage your full-time occupation, right? And back into meaning. When I say meaning, a life of meaning, fulfillment, right? Things that makes you feel fulfilled outside of anything that is myopic in nature, right? Oh, is sex myopic? Yeah. Right? In the final analysis, it's supposed to be a symptom of a good relationship, not the other way around. You don't use sex. Remember, you don't want to turn sex into a proof. Instead, you want to experience sex. You want to experience sex because it's just a natural